Okay, next demo for the day. Hi, I'm Darren with Auto Fetish Detail, or Detailing Underground, which is my video channel here on YouTube. What we're going to talk today about is cleaning interior, and what I specifically want to highlight is doing door panels. The reason I picked door panels is a couple reasons, and I picked this car for a couple reasons also. The most important is the fact that it's black. Now, black cars represent, and I'm referring to black interiors, they represent the good news and the bad news. The good news is that the actual dirt that accumulates in a car is hidden by the fact that it's black. The bad news is that the dust, just debris and lint, that all shows up much more on black. So it's both the good news and the bad news. Also, the bad news is the interiors heat up more, it's hotter, those types of things. Anyhow, so the point is when it comes to interiors, I basically have two products. They're both made by Meguiar's. I'm a huge fan of Meguiar's, and like I say in most of my videos, it's not the only way. It's just the way that works for me. And my whole methodology is how to get from point A to point B quicker with better results. It's as simple as that. Detailing made simple. So you can go about things in a short way, direct to the point, or you can kind of, overcomplicate things. I see a lot of videos on YouTube and they tend to overcomplicate things, over dramatize things. So I like to cut to the chase. Anyhow, so when it comes to interiors, literally this bucket is my interior. Virtually everything in this bucket will take care of 99.9% of any interior I've ever done. So there's quite a few products in here. I'm not going to go through everything, but when it comes to cleaners, I've got my all-purpose upholstery cleaner in this one and my heavy-duty cleaner in this one. Yes, I can use this on most, and I say that again, most materials. I do have to be much more careful with this based on the material. My experience will dictate when I can use it, when I can't. I'll get more into that later. But for most, 95% of the time, I'm just going to use this product, which is an all-purpose interior cleaner. Like I said, it's made by Meguiar's. I love it. Now, when it comes to the door panel, there's a lot of materials and a lot of things going on, a lot of detail work. For example, we've got dust that accumulates here. We've got the arm that rests up here, the grab handle. So these areas will be dirtier than the other areas. So you don't have to overthink it. I just douse it. Now, I'm not completely saturating it where liquid's actually going to start pulling or pouring back into the seams and hurt any parts or electrical or anything like that. But I do certainly use liberal use of my cleaner. Now, there's a couple pads that I use. This is one of them. It's a non-scratch pad. It's just made out of synthetic material and it will not scratch. Now, you can get the Scotch-Brite pads, which are the green pads. Now, those will do a certain amount of scratching depending upon the material you're using it on. They are very effective, but you have to know when to pick and choose. So I'm going to scrub the areas first that have the most dirt to them. I always use a microfiber cloth. Microfibers to me should be called the eighth wonder of the world because they're so far superior to a regular terry cloth towel. They don't leave lint. They're much more absorbent. They're just a better tool all the way around. Now, some things I want to highlight specifically about this is, for example, if you spray your cleaner into these seams and then you wipe it up, what's going to happen is that the liquid is still going to be remaining inside these seams. And when you walk away, you'll start seeing drips come down. So it's important to either come back and touch it up or really force the cloth into these seams. You can also use a vacuum cleaner, and you can suck out the residual cleaner out of the areas, at all the detail crevices if you want. So it's just one of the variables you have to be concerned with. Anyhow, so I'm going to continue to clean this. I use this pad because this is a Mercedes. There's a lot of textures going on here. This texture is different than this texture. This texture is the same as that. This is a little different. This is yet a little different. This is not one of the high-end Mercedes that it has leather, but even if it was leather, I would be using the same technique. And I just go around, depending upon what I'm trying to clean. I can either use a toothbrush, which is a great tool to get around these tight little seams. I can use one of my dusting brushes that I don't mind getting wet, and that really can get inside there and loosen the dirt up. And then I simply go around carefully around certain areas and mop up the dirt. Now, detailing is just that. It's all about the details. So there's many beginners that would simply stop there and call this door panel clean and detailed out. To me, it's about 80% there, because you have this whole crevice area in here. You'll notice I didn't get inside here. This area is difficult because you can't get your hand down there. It's hard to get the corners. So between a vacuum cleaner down there, and you can knock the dirt loose with this, or you can use actually compressed air if you happen to have a air compressor, or you can even use, like at home, a leaf blower. I often use a leaf blower in detailing. It's easy, it's quick, just plug it into electrical supply, and automatically I have what's called compressed air. So what I also want to highlight is one of the problems with black. Now I'm going to cut to the chase on this just for the demonstration purposes. Make sure this is all dry. When it comes to black, it's also more difficult because when you clean it, it will tend to have an uneven pattern to it from cleaning, unlike the lighter color materials. And once again, everything comes with its trade-offs. So black, it hides the dirt better. And the reality is if this was not 100% clean at this point, it would be hard to tell because it's black. So what I use is this cool little spray put out by Stoner. I will have this on my website. You can check it out. I love it when it comes to black materials. What it is, it's just a light aerosol dressing. And what I do in the case of black is I just come in like this, lightly spray it, and then come in with a rag and just kind of work it in. Now the beauty of this is that you can create a nice even finish after you clean. Now this aerosol is meant to literally be a spray and no touch. You don't have to follow up. I personally like to follow up and knock down the shine a little bit. I'm not a big fan of overly shiny cars. I'm certainly not a big fan of using heavy, thick dressings inside of a car that are greasy feeling, and they end up being counterproductive because they will literally not attract. It's not like a magnet, but what happens is the dirt is able to stick to it a little bit better than just a plain, completely dry surface. But once again, trade-offs. So this is just a way, this aerosol, to get a nice even, you can see there's still not completely even there, a nice even finish to a black interior, which can be very problematic when you spend all that time cleaning it and you know it's absolutely clean and yet it doesn't look perfect. Now this is not 100% perfect because I still haven't touched this area or down here, but I want to demonstrate a couple things. One, if you do saturate the area, got to be careful of drips after the fact. You got to pick the right tool. This has this wood veneer here, so you don't want to scratch it up with your brushes. So you just have to be careful when cleaning. And then this aerosol, which is a wonderful product for black cars specifically. All right, so once again, detailing made simple. Can be pretty straightforward. These are the tools I use. Doesn't have to be overly complicated.